Good evening, guys. Good evening, ladies, and welcome. Yes, we're here again with another section, another video on the history of rock. I'm just going to go to. Oh, hang on. I'm just going to go and have a pee, guys. I'll be back in a minute. Need to go and have a pee. I meant to go and have one, but. Yeah, bear with me a minute. Ooh. Got water on my kitchen floor here. That might have been Laura when she put the kettle on. There we go. There we go, sorted. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Right. There we go. All sorted. Right. Well, basically, guys. Right. How many's in? We'll let a few of you get in first. We'll just have a quick chat. We've got 2 people in. I'm probably one of them. Anyway, so I managed, just a quick one, I managed to get rid of the hum on the Garage Zero. It's now as quiet as a mouse. And it turned out, hello Mark, Bernie and everybody. I hope you're all good. Yeah, I got rid of the hum. It was a right pain in the arse. It turned out to be the new lead I bought with the earth wire. It turned out to be that, because I swapped it for the other lead that didn't have the earth wire. I had a right pain in the arse because basically because of all the plugging and unplugging, one of the sockets on me Rogers amplifier came loose, so I was getting a very loud intermittent hum, so I had to take the amplifier apart. And they don't make it easy for you, Rogers. They don't, guys. Don't make it easy. I had to take a shielding plate out, 4 screws, all sorts of shit. And that was after I'd got the case off. Anyway, I managed to sort that out. Then the amplifier wouldn't work on one input. All the inputs were shorted on the left channel. So it turned out to be I'd put the shielding plate back in backwards. I think that's what it was. I took it apart again and sorted that out. I extended the speaker wires. I got hit by a plastic Amstrad speaker on the bonds, so I lengthened the speaker wires, so coupled the amplifier further out. And I tried the Yamaha amplifier out of the workshop and it still buzzed. So I thought, right, well, it's not the amplifier. So I thought I'll just swap the leads. I swapped the leads as it was last resort, to be honest. I swapped the leads and I connected the ground and everything up, and it went, the hum went. It's as quiet as a mouse now, guys. Anyway, and what I did then, well, I mean, the Rogers needed opening anyway, because there was a couple of buttons that were a bit crispy that needed a bit of spray, so I sprayed them while I was in there. Give them a squirt of Service All Super 10 while I was in there. And I found the ground connection for the turntable. It's in between 2 RCA connectors. It's in between 2 of the RCA plugs, sockets rather. So what I did, I put a pigtail on that so that I could connect to it easier. And I've done that, and it's nice and quiet now, guys. I even tried the cartridge carrier out of the Zero, but the Zero over there's got a hum on it. The one in the front room, that's got a hum. And I know what it is now, it's the wire, so we'll do that one. The next time we service that, we'll leave it for now. The next time we service that, we'll put a new wire on that. I will get one ordered ready, and we'll put a new wire on that as well. And then that one won't hum, but I'll buy the same kind of wire. It's a pretty good quality wire that I got, but I really wanted the one with the earth terminal on because it looks right. But I even tried connecting it straight to the mains earth and everything, and nothing got rid of this hum. Turns out to be these leads are just crap. The lead I bought was just crap, and that's all it was. And yeah, it's lovely and silent now. Turn the motor on, there's nothing, there's no hum and nothing whatsoever, and that's how it should be. I thought it was going to get the better on me, to be honest, but it didn't. Anyway, we're back to normal now. The only thing is I've plugged the reel-to-reel in the wrong way around. I've plugged the play into the record and the record into the play. But I need to get another lead anyway, or make one up, because the lead's a bit short on one of them, so I need to change the lead anyway. So we'll do that when we next use the reel-to-reel. Hello, S-Dex, good evening, sir. Nice to see you with us. Anyway, so that's where we're up to on the Garage Zero number 2, the one in the shack. So that's all working now. What we're going to do on Wednesday, if the stylus comes, either tomorrow or Wednesday. If it comes tomorrow, we'll do it tomorrow, a quick video. And I'm going to show you how to align. I'm going to show you how to align the stylus using the Garage Zero 100s cartridge carrier setup gauge, and I mean, I don't know why I ordered a new stylus. I could have just took the cartridge out of the SP25. But that being said, I do prefer the sound of this. I do actually prefer. I think the sound, from what I've heard of it, the sound on the M75 ED Type 2. I think that's a better cartridge. It's certainly a lot more sensitive because I've had to put the buttons on the lowest set. I noticed there was 2 buttons on the back of the. I only noticed it last night when I took it apart, because one of them's partially hidden. There's actually 2 buttons for the sensitivity. I was wondering why it was a bit off on one channel, a bit lower on one than it was on the other. Anyway, they've both been cleaned and they're both in the out position, because this is a very sensitive cartridge that's in this. It's a higher voltage cartridge, so we don't need the buttons to be pressed in. They're okay in the out position, and there's plenty of volume provided. Anyway, my daughter made me a cup of coffee, guys, but she didn't put any sugar in it. Still, to put that up there out of the way. To be honest with you, I actually preferred that without sugar. Good evening, Malcolm. Right, so let's get on with it. It's Andy's record collection. This is what we do. On a Monday night, we've got one video next week to come on this, and then we're done with the history of rock. Right. So what we're going to do this time, we're going to leave them piled up there, and we'll put them upside down and they go back in the right way. So this week, we've got volumes 21 to number 30. So on here, as you can see, look at that. We've got Status Quo, Slade, 10cc and a Thin Lizzy. Now, just a recap, these History of Rock LPs, they were made in conjunction as a companion to the History of Rock magazine, where you bought the magazine, you could buy the companion records to go with it. And I think they're a great idea because you get a little bit of everything. There's 2 LPs in most of them, So let's have a look at the artist. Let's have a look at the inside sleeve. Right. Well, there we have Slade and Finn and Status Quo. I mean, Status Quo. A lot of people, a lot of people say that they're rubbish or mediocre. I thought they were brilliant. I thought Status Quo were great. One of my favourites. Status Quo have existed in some shape or form since 1962. Right, they came. I'm not going to read all that, obviously, but yeah, they appeared in 1962, and they were known as the Spectres. They had to wait until 1968, however, for success to come their way, with pictures of Matchstick Men. Yeah, great record, But yeah, so you got Status Quo, and then on the other side of the same record, you get Slade. The Slade started off as the Slade, and the manager said, "No, trim off the cleaner," so they became Slade. And Slade were known as the singles artist, the singles band of the 70s. They had no fewer than 18 singles in the top 40. And does it tell us how many? I think it was about 4 or 5 went to number 1. Does it tell us here? It might not. Yeah, number 1, because I Love You reached number 1 in 1971. Yeah, I'd no less than 16 UK top 20 singles. Yeah, very, very good. I mean, they were known as the singles band of the 70s. Slade, very, very good. Very good. Still good today. And I think they were from Birmingham, weren't they? They were from your neck of the woods, weren't they, Mark? From Brummieland, yeah. And then we had Thin Lizzy. Of course we had Thin Lizzy. We couldn't not have Thin Lizzy, could we? We had Thin Lizzy. They started in Dublin in 1970. Yeah, they were good, Thin Lizzy. Brilliant. But I think I've read this wrong, haven't I? Yeah, because it should have been 10cc next. Yeah, we should be talking about 10cc first. There's 10cc there. They started Strawberry Studios in Stockport. 10cc. Graham Gold, what was his name? Gold. Somebody tell me here in a minute, won't it? Graham Goldman. Yeah. They started. They started, or they funded Strawberry Studios. Some people say the Beatles actually recorded at Strawberry Studios. They might have done, but I don't think anything that they made there was ever released, because I've never ever yet come across a Beatles record that says it was made at Strawberry Studios, recorded at Strawberry Studios. I've never come across one. That's not to say there isn't any. I've never come across one. So whether they recorded there, I don't know. But until I see a record, I'm going to say it's a myth. But it could be true. But until I see a record, it's a myth. And then, of course, the brilliant Thin Lizzy. Absolutely. Yeah, look at him stood there. Yeah, his legs open and the guitar. Yeah, brilliant. Top guys. Yeah, Thin Lizzy, brilliant. And that's the beauty of these records. I'm not going to read out the track list. There's no need. But, all the good stuff that you expect to find, it's all on here. It's all on these. I mean, They even put Good Morning Judge on from 1977. I remember that. Good Morning Judge. Yeah, the from 10cc. So we'll put that upside down in the right order to go back into the thing, aren't they? Right, who have we got there? Yeah, Wolverhampton. Yeah, they're from Wolverhampton, aren't they? Well, that's as close to Birmingham as you want to be, in it. Wolverhampton, it's part of Birmingham as such. Carly Simon. This is volume 22. You got on here. You got Carly Simon. You got James Taylor. You got Joni Mitchell, and you got Don McLean, or McLean as some people call him. Now let's start with Carly Simon. She was gorgeous. Her, look at her. Ooh, yeah, she was nicer, weren't she? Yeah, she was nice and she was talented. You're So Vain, that was probably the biggest one she ever had. It's certainly mentioned in 1972. Yeah, a big favourite of mine. But yeah, she was sexy looking there, weren't she? Carly Simon, definitely. Yeah, they were lovely. But the artwork on these, you know, you didn't just get a record and a plain cover, you got something that told you about the artist or artists. You know, then you've got James Taylor. He covered a lot of, what do you call him? He covered a lot of fucking, what do you call him, songs, didn't he? He covered a few of, come to me in a minute, don't anyone tell me. It'll come to me in a minute. Dal Shannon. Yeah. Yeah, James Taylor's Woebegone Country. What? Countenance on the front cover of Time in 1971 proclaimed the... Yeah, I'm not reading all that. Anyway. Yeah, James Taylor is... Yeah. I don't know a lot about him, actually, but... Yeah, he was good. I've heard a few of his songs, well, the ones he's covered by Dal Shannon. Does it say anything here? Yeah, he was a drug addict, that's for sure. Mind you, most of them are, aren't they? You know. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them are. Yeah. That what's his name, wasn't he? That what's his name was. What's it, Gilbert O'Sullivan. He was a junkie, wasn't he? A lot of them are, it's unfortunate. But, you know, a lot of them are, they think it goes with it, don't they? But it doesn't. I mean, yeah. Then you've got Joni Mitchell. You know, Joni Mitchell. Yeah, she weren't bad. Yeah. Man, I don't know a lot about her. I don't know a lot about all of them, to be honest. But yeah, there's a lot to go on with. I mean, they're great, these records, I mean, for what they are. And then you've got Don McLean. He's more famous for American Pie, isn't he? The Day the Music Died and all that lot. Yeah. Yeah, I like Don McLean. I think he's very good. Anyway, we're going to try and get through them as quick as we can, because then we can get on to other things. But yeah, you've got 4 artists on there, and this one's got more than that on it. This has got, blimey, Blood, Sweat and Tears. Have I put that the right way up? Yeah, or the wrong way up rather. Blood, Sweat and Tears. The band Country Joe and the Fish, and the Grateful Dead. The Grateful Dead. Do I know the Grateful Dead? Not really. Not my cup of tea. Alright, Blood, Sweat and Tears. Yes, I've heard a few about those. We had a few of theirs. They formed in '67. Yeah. And what were they most famous for? See if it tells us. It doesn't say. But, you know, if you read these it would say, but I don't want to read all this lot. We've only got 8 people in. Right. Then we had, next to him you got somebody called The Band I've never heard of. Mark will have heard of these. Mark from 1966. Mark will have heard of them. I would have thought. I haven't. So I can't talk about them even. I've never heard of them. I might recognise one of their songs and then I'll know them. But Country Joe and the Fish, never heard of them either. Were a unique phenomenon, being virtually the only 60s West Coast acid orientated band with a deep rooted political commitment. That's probably why I've never heard of them. Right, that's them guys here. Now we got Grateful Dead. I've heard of Grateful Dead. They were an acid rock band as well. It says so right here. Yeah. Definitive acid rock band. Yeah. Yeah, you know, not my style, not my kind of music. It's not my flavour, that, to be honest. So, but that being said, it does introduce. No, you've never heard of them. Well, that's weird. Never mind. We'll put the album on one night and have a listen. The Temptations, the Jackson 5, Temptations, Jackson 5, the Commodores and Marvin Gaye. Well, now, we've all heard of these lot on here. We've all heard of these. Absolutely, guys. We've definitely heard of these. There's the Temptations. I do like the Temptations. I thought they were very good. And they were active between... for over 10 years between 19s. The Temptations enjoyed an uninterrupted flow of hit singles for over 10 years between 1964 and 1975. Despite several personnel changes with David, I'm not going to go into all that. But yeah. Then we had the Jackson 5. Which spawned Michael Jackson. And his other siblings all went separate ways, didn't they? The Jackson 5 were Motown's biggest selling group of the early 70s, achieving 6 top 10 singles in under 2 years, with Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye aiming their music at an older age group. Yeah, we're not reading all that. But yeah, they Jackson 5. They look different, don't they? I mean, well, they would do back then. Yeah. Don't know which one's Michael. I think that's him there, the one with the mic in his hand. Or it could be that one there. I don't know, it's one. They've all got mics. It could be any of them. I think that's him, I'm not sure. The one in the Rupert the Bear trousers. I think that's him. I don't know. But anyway, the Commodores. The Commodores, they had Lionel Richie, didn't they, and disappeared when he left. The Commodores signed with Motown in 1972 and it's established an healthy reputation in the soul market with their first 3 singles. The only one I remember was Once, Twice, Three Times a Lady. That's all anybody remembers. Because to be honest with you, the Commodores, they weren't brilliant, were they? I mean, Lionel Richie, when he left the Commodores, he went from strength to strength, didn't he? You know? As soon as he got away from them, he went from strength to strength. And then you had Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye, I think he was shot by his own father, wasn't he? Marvin Gaye was one of Motown's most consistent artists during a career that spanned over more than 20 years. Although the tracks on display here pick up his career from 1968, Marvin had recording hits for Motown since Stubborn King of Fellow in 1962. So take it they haven't put that one on here. Yeah, well, there we go. Oops, I just hit the camera with this record sleeve. Yeah. Anyway, so that's that. Eric Clapton. Ooh, now we're getting into the good stuff. Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, Johnny Winter and Rory Gallagher. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is what we like, guys. Is there something inside that? I know when I first got these, I went through them and found a £10 note stashed in one of them. I think it was this set. Eric Clapton. Well, he originally started off with Cream, didn't he, I think he started off in Cream, didn't he? Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton, the original guitar hero, shrank away from the flash and the heavy. It was reason behind his departures from blah, blah, blah. I'm not reading all that, be here all night. But yeah. I'm going to expect to find, I've never played a lot of these, but I'm going to expect to find these really good ones on here, the ones that I like Wonderful Tonight and Tears in Heaven. I'll be very surprised if they're not on here, but that's if they were made before. These might not have been made before this came out. If they weren't, then they won't be on here. Then you got Jeff Beck, High Old Silver Lining. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah. He was 60s, wasn't he, Jeff Beck? Yeah, he was pretty much 60s, him. And he returned sometime in 1975. Yeah, but yeah, Jeff Beck. I mean, they're full of good. They're full of good stuff. These, I mean, they really are. There's Johnny Winter. Johnny Winter was one of the most exciting American rockers of the early 70s, and his story was one of triumph over adversity. Right, I'm not going to read it all, obviously not. It's all there on the internet for you to read. And then you had Rory Gallagher on here as well. You know, just about everybody who's anybody's on here. You know, they covered everything. You know. Yeah, they covered everything, guys. These covers are a bit thingy now, aren't they? I don't know why. And the Beatles, and we've got two LPs. I think there's 2 LPs in this. Yeah, there's 2 records in this of the Beatles. And this, as far as I know, apart from official Beatle releases, this is the only one I know of that's actually got everything. You know, 2 records by the Beatles in here. Most of them you're lucky you get a single, and it's usually an unknown one. But this is 2, so this has got to have some stuff on it. We all know the history of the Beatles. The Beatles are my favourite group. I think they were fabulous. I still think they're fabulous. I love their music. You know, You know, how they got away with making this with two lots of, you know, I mean, they've got to be some good ones on here. I mean, they can't have just filled it with shit. There's got to be some good ones. We'll have a look in a minute and see what they've put on here. Because most of the time you get Ain't She Sweet and stuff like that, stuff that no one's ever heard of. You know, but we won't look at the other side because it's the Beatles. So what have we got on here? We've got She Loves You, From Me to You, We Can Work It Out, Help Michelle yesterday, I Feel Fine, Yellow Submarine, Can't Buy Me Love, Bad Boy, Day Tripper, Hard Day's Night, Ticket to Ride, Paperback Writer, Eleanor Rigby, I Want to Hold Your Hand, Twist and Shout, She's a Woman, Dizzy Miss Lizzie, Ticket to Ride. Haven't I just read that? Yeah, 1965. Why has he got 2 Ticket to Rides on it? It has, guys. A Ticket to Ride, 1965. And A Ticket to Ride, Can't Buy Me Love. I think I read that somewhere and all. Dizzy Miss Liz, yeah, Twist and Shout, Dizzy, She's a Woman, Dizzy Miss Lizzie, Ticket to Ride, Can't Buy Me Love, Things We Said Today, Roll Over Beethoven, Boys, A Hard Day's Night, yeah, that's there and all, it must be a different version, Help. Right, I'm going to read the thing in a minute because this one here's got, the ones that are doubled up here have got stars, so I wonder if they're stereo. It should tell me here. Sides 1 and 2. Here we are. Let me just finish reading the track list. Boys, A Hard Day's Night, Help, All My Loving, She Loves You, Long Tall Sally. Sides 1 and 2, original sound recordings made by EMI Records. Sides 3 and 4 recorded live at the Hollywood Bowl in 1964, and the ones with the stars next to them in 1965. Recordings first published 1977. Original sound record. 1977. The first published. Recordings made by EMI Records. We'll have to have a listen to. I can't play this for you. Hello, Sam. Good evening, Sam, and I hope you and the wife are good. Hope you and the lovely Angela are good, my friend. I hope everybody with a wife, I hope all your wives are good. Absolutely. Mr. Paul. Mr. Paul, 1962, Penny. Hello, Paul. Good evening, sir. Good evening, my friend. And yeah, so that one there will be interesting to have a listen to because I've heard everything on here. I've not heard this, so we'll have a listen to that one. I might put it on in a bit. Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, and Wishbone Ash, and Mott the Hoople. Yeah. Told you, get everything on these. I mean, these, if you see them, especially the full set, they really do make good buying sense. I mean, it's 40 albums and it's a record collection all in one set. You know, I've had these for a long time and I think I gave a tenner for them because the guy had other stuff and didn't show me that. He sold that to someone else. Then when he was left with the crap or what he thought was crap, he brought it to me. And I wasn't happy. So he wanted 40 quid, he weren't getting it out of me. Black Sabbath, we all know, started life as a jazz blues outfit called Earth. It was at the suggestion of their manager Jim Simpson that they changed their name, turned the volume dial up to number 10, and yes, we all know, became history. Yeah, Black Sabbath, yeah. Well, they didn't go to 10 Black Sabbath, did they? Went to 11, didn't they, Black Sabbath? Yeah, they went to 11, definitely. Yeah, Deep Purple. Yep. Remember Deep Purple? Who doesn't, eh? I wonder if it's got. I wonder if it's got that record on here. What's it called? That one with that famous guitar riff on it. You know, what's it called? Don't anybody fucking tell me, because I'll remember in a minute without looking at this. Yeah. It'll come to me in a minute. But yeah, they did. Yeah, you know, they were good, Deep Purple. I thought they were good. Because I like a bit of heavy rock. I like a bit of heavy rock, or heavy metal as people call it. I like a bit of that. Still can't remember what that song was called. It'll be on the back of here in a minute. You know, that guitar riff. Do, 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 do. Smoke on the Water. Do, 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 do. Yeah. Brilliant record. Wishbone Ash. Yeah, I've never heard of Wishbone. Have you heard of Wishbone Ash, Mark? I've never heard of Wishbone Ash, so I can't talk about them. Mott the Hoople. I don't know a lot about Mott the Hoople, except I believe they were good. Mott the Hoople's Glam Image. Belayed. Is that Belayed? Belayed by the fact that the band played a raw blend of punky, streetwise rock audiences, rock and roll, sorry, that was welcomed by an audience. I'm not reading all that, but yeah, you know, it's all up there for you to read. And if you see this collection, guys, buy it. Have we got Smoke on the Water? I'd be surprised if we haven't. And guess what? We haven't. We've got Black Knight, we've got Strange Kind of Woman, Fireball, When a Blind Man Cries, and Child in Time. No, we never got Smoke. They never put Smoke in the water, Smoke on the Water in it. And isn't that weird? Black Sabbath, we've got Paranoid, we've got Iron Man, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, War Pigs. I'm not going to read the rest. But yeah, I don't know these guys here, but I do know the rest of them. Yeah, heard of them, never really into them. No. I mean, but, you know, they do make good buying sense. I mean, yeah, we've got the Animals. We're on 28 now, by the way. We've got the Animals and the British Beat. So this is going to cover, the British Beat's going to cover everything, isn't it? That's going to cover everything. The British Beat, that's going to cover all the beat groups of the 60s. Definitely. There's the Animals. There was 5 of them in the Animals. They all dressed up like Beatles, didn't they? All dressed up in whistle and flutes. I think the Beatles were the first group to do that, weren't they? The first 60s beat group to do that. To dress up in, you know, because Brian Epstein insisted that they went on stage tidy and they wore whistle and flutes instead of fucking what they normally wore, which was leathers and stuff, leather jackets and stuff. He insisted that they went on stage in suits. I mean, fucking, you know, these have got zoot suits on, and you can tell. I mean, that's definitely a zoot suit he's wearing. They're definitely zoot suits, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, anyway. The Animals are fuck, I'm not reading all that. I can't pronounce that. Linked in the most people's memories with House of the Rising Sun. We know, yeah. British Beat, Liverpool in the early 60s was the scene of a great upsurge in musical activity that was to change the face of British pop. The cellar clubs of this the cellar clubs of this declining seaport produced a wave of groups. Yeah, we know, don't we? You know, there was over 273 of them, and when they shook them all up, only a few handful of few good ones fell out, didn't they? you know, but you know, they probably won't mention the Beatles here because they've got their own album, haven't they? But the ones they mention in here, you got Lulu and the Lovers. Hang on, you've got Billy J. Kramer, the foremost, Jenny and the Pacemakers, Cliff Bennett and the Rebel Rousers, the Action, the Swinging Blue Jeans, the Dreamers. That's Freddie and the Dreamers. They put his fucking name up there. Freddie and the Dreamers, the Big Three, the Trogs, and who's that fucker at the top? Dave Berry, yeah, and Lulu and the Lovers, and of course the Action. Yeah. And this, you know, this is full of all sorts of stuff. I've actually heard this. This is a nice album, but you know, you've got the Animals on side 1 and on side 2. You've got the British Beat, and that continues on side 3 and side 4. You know, I mean, they do represent good buying sense, these. I mean, they really do. I mean, it's a record collection all in one go, innit? I keep saying that, but it really is, guys. I mean, you can't knock it, can you? I mean, you get a lot for your money. Toto, Journey, REO Speedwagon, Blue Oyster Cult. I can't say any of them are my favourites, but you never know. Toto. Yeah, there's Toto here. It's got him and him. These and these are Toto. And I don't know a lot about these, to be honest. These are 1980s, late 70s, early 80s. But I will know some of the records, obviously, when I hear them. Journey, no, don't know much about them. But it's all on there for you to look at if you want to. REO Speedwagon. Yeah, they were sort of like, they were 80s, weren't they? 81, yeah, 81 to whenever they fucking disappeared. And Blue Oyster Cult. I remember Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah, I remember Blue Oyster Cult very, very well. And there's Blue Oyster Cult there, and REO Speedwagon. I mean, I like the art, and I like all the art and stuff. I like the art that's in these. And here we are, guys. Here's the last one for tonight, volume 30. The Eagles, Lynyrd Skynyrd, if I said it correctly. Skynyrd. Is that his name? I don't know. Yeah, him. Steely Dan and Little Feat. I've never heard of him, and I've never heard of them. So, let's see. Alright, the Eagles. Who hasn't heard of the Eagles, guys? One of the best groups ever. Who hasn't heard of the Eagles? Excellent. Yeah, I like the Eagles. I think they're brilliant. Lynyrd. I can't pronounce his fucking name, whoever he was. I don't know him. I might know if I heard one of his records, where I should play one and have a listen. But I'm not going to do it on here. Mark might know him. It's nice to have Mark on, actually, because if he does know, he can give us extra information. Because he's mixed in these sort of circles, you know, so he's... And there we got Steely Dan, whatever you want to call him, Steely Dan, whatever you want to call him, yeah, Steely Dan. There was actually a piss take of them called Steely Span. Did a song called All Around My Hat. Yeah, Steely Dan. Yeah, were the razor edge of American rock in the mid-70s. Right. And these are Little Feat here. Whoever Little Feat were, have been described as little latter-day country cousins of the big West Coast bands of the 60s. I've never heard of them. I'll have to have a listen. I should have done actually, but oh, pardon me. But yeah, this album was made in 1985, or that's when the cover was produced. So I'd have to say that was made pretty near. And the back of it, there we go, guys. The Eagles. Best of my love, one of these nights, Lion Eyes, Take It to the Limit. Yeah, they put the best ones on, don't they? Sweet Home Alabama, Lanyard, whatever his fucking name is, Sky and Yard, whatever his fucking name is. Well, they did Sweet Home Alabama, Free Bird, Saturday Night Special, What's Your Name, Steely Dan, Do It Again, Reeling in the Years, sorry, Hayotian Divorce, yeah. Black Friday, F.M. Little Feat, Dixie Chicken, Willing, Long Distance Love, Sailing Shoes, Down on the Farm. Who thinks we should have a quick listen to Little Feat and see what they were about? Who thinks we should, guys? Should we? Should we? I've never heard of them, you know. Little Feat. Just put a couple of seconds of one on. There we go. Little Feat. So, I'm not going to put the camera on the record player because I'm not going to be playing it long enough. Well, the record looks nice and clean anyway. Mind it should do. That's actually mint, that. I'm only going to play a couple of seconds because the stylus in this is not that clever. I'm waiting for the new one to arrive. Can't find the hole. Get on there. There you go. Right, 33. Let's just set the speed up. We want it dead in the middle. Where's my glasses? Alright. Switch it on, we'll use it manually. That's 45, we want 33 and a third. That's it. There we go. There you go, guys. And if I turn the volume up just to prove my hum has gone, turn my volume up. There you go. And I turn the motor off. Exactly the same. That is perfect now, guys. There we go. Hey! Yeah, but these do represent good buying sense. I keep saying that, but it's true. Go back to you guys. Or back to me, rather. Yeah, but that's... yeah, they do make good... They do represent good buying sense, these records. Because if you can find all 40 of them like I did, you know, you've got yourself a bloody good record collection. Now they're ready now. They're ready now to go back into the bookcase in a bit. When I put them away, they're ready to go back in the order they came out. You know, and that's it, guys. I mean, you know, we've got a pretty comprehensive collection of records here. I mean, I like buying records. It's the one thing that I do enjoy, and I get a lot of pleasure out of it. I mean, I don't drink, I don't smoke. You know, I've got a bottle of scotch that a friend of mine gave me, and it's still in the workshop. It will get drunk. I will get to it eventually, but you know, but we'll see. But yeah, as you know, guys, the Zero is now done. We're back on the Rogers amp. Everything's back to normal, apart from the fact I've got to find another lead that's long enough to go from the reel-to-reel recorder to the amplifier. I've got to find a lead that's long enough to do that. I think I've got one somewhere. I think I've got a 5-pin to RCA's on one 5-pin on one end and RCA's on the other. I think I've got one of them somewhere. That might be long enough. I'll use that. But we'll see. But yeah, I'm happy with the way this is working now. I wasn't last night. I mean, yeah, I said I could live without home, but no, I couldn't, guys. I couldn't, because I know it shouldn't really be there. But it had me thrown because I put a brand new lead, so I never thought for 1 minute it was the lead. Changing the lead was the last resort, guys. You know, that was the last resort in change. And if you're gonna have a nice record collection, it's nice to have something nice to play them on. You know, I mean, you know, your average dance set or Fidelity or whatever just doesn't cut it. You know, if you've got a nice record collection, it's nice to have something really nice to actually play them on. And I've been after another Zero for a long time. I've been after another Zero for a long time, and you know, but they always seem to be out of my price range. I've just found this one that needed a bit of titillating, titivating, whatever you want to call it. Needed a service, and the thing that went in my favour was the cartridge carrier was missing. And you can't just phone Garrard, and I explained that to the guy who had this thing. I said to him, I said, you just can't phone the manufacturer and order. I think they're a C1. I think they're a C1 cartridge carrier in these. They're not a C2. Yeah, they could be a C2. I can't remember now. But you can't just order one. You can't just phone up and say, look, you know, I need a cartridge carrier for a Garrard 0100. You're going to pay 30 odd quid. If you can find them, people are wanting between 30 and 40 quid for them, for cartridge carriers. Because you know you can't, everybody knows you can't find them. Everyone knows you can't get them. But luckily, just luckily, I happen to have one in my box of cartridge bits. And it had no wires on it. I nicked the wires off it for something else. Years ago. But I thought, well, I'll keep the carrier. I thought I'll keep the carrier and throw it in my box, because you never know. You don't throw nothing like that away. Because you can't get them. You know, and you always make sure before you buy one of these decks that it's got the carrier. If it hasn't, you make sure you can get one. There was an American fella, and he wanted nearly £50 back in the mid-2000s. I think he's dead now. There was a guy called Joel. He used to run a company called the Turntable Factory, and he bought all the Garrard stuff, or most of it, and he wanted like $40 or 40 quid or whatever for a cartridge carrier, and you're just not going to pay that. I mean, when you have to pay for 30 or 40 quid for a cartridge carrier, you know, you're scrapping the deck. The deck's just scrap. But I bought this with no cartridge carrier because I knew that I had one somewhere. It took some digging out, but I knew there was one in here somewhere. But you know, because what I didn't want to do, guys, and I really didn't want to do, was try and bodge a cartridge in there without a carrier. Because A, if you bodge it in, it's done for life pretty much, and B, you can't align it. I mean, not that I'm big on aligning cartridges anyway, that's for audio fools. But if you've got the gauge and you can do it, you might as well get the best out of your turntable that you can get. You know, and that's all we want really. I mean, I would never pay stupid money for leads and cartridges, and you know, and I do agree, guys and girls, and I've always said, and I thoroughly believe this, the cartridge maketh the system. You know, you can put a really nice cartridge into a shit turntable and it'll still sound okay, it'll still sound good. And why is that? Because the arm is really a vehicle for carrying the cartridge. That's all it's for. And the turntable just rotates the record. You know, they do, yeah, I mean, I could start a whole bloody argument here. But yeah, they do. The turntable does have some say in the sound, because you can get anomalies like rumble and wow and flutter. But if you've got a turntable that's running pretty much true, like the Garrard does pretty much, it's not perfect, you know, but it's not imperfect either. It's not bad for its age, you know, and you know, you put a shit cartridge in that and it'll sound shit. You know, you put a shit cartridge in it, you get the kind of results you expect. You put a nice cartridge in, like what's in there, and you get, you know, you get the results that should be expected from a nice cartridge. I've got that set at 1.5 grams. That's set at pretty much 1.5 grams, which is what the cartridge is supposed to track at, and it tracks beautifully. Once it gets a new style, it's got the wrong stylus in. It's got the stylus for the M44, and this is an M75, and they are a different stylus. They look the same, but they are different stylus. They are slightly different. But for testing purposes, it's good enough. But if you, you know, what we'll do when we put the correct stylus in, we'll get the setup gauge from over there from the other one, and I'll show you how to set the cartridge up using the setting gauge. It's a shame, really. I wonder if there's anybody that can 3D print them setup gauges. I wonder if anybody can 3D print them. Because if somebody could 3D print them, people would buy them. The audiophiles certainly would. But I can think of a lot of people, you know, a lot of members in the Garrard. Well, anybody with a Garrard Zero would buy a setup gauge if it was cheap enough and it was reliable enough. I mean, they have to be made exactly the same they have to be made to pretty much the same recipe as the original. They have to be transparent so you can see the stylus through the crosshairs. You know, so they have to be to a degree perfect. But yeah, I reckon it'd sell if somebody could 3D print them. You know, we could 3D print them with you know, with clear filament. I think you can get a clear filament, a transparent filament. It doesn't matter the colour as long as it's transparent. I reckon people would buy them. I would, because my cartridge setup gauge, it's been repaired about 3 times. Because you only have to drop them and they bloody break. They're very fragile. I mean, mine arrived damaged, and I super glued it, and then it got dropped, and then it broke, and it's been repaired twice. But when all said and done, I've stuck it together and managed to get it pretty square. Well, actually, I got it square, not pretty, because no good if you ain't going to get it right. I actually did manage to stick it together very square, so it's perfect. Still good enough for doing the job. But we're going to show you how to use that on the off chance you happen to have one. And they're very rare. I mean, they're as rare as rocking horse shit, the setup gauge. I'm not going to mess about with it now. But, you know, if you're going to have a nice record collection, it is nice to have something nice to play it on. It's good to have something really good to play it on. And as far as I'm concerned, really the only person, the only guy for the gig is fucking the Garrard Zero, really. I mean, yeah, there are other turntables that are available. I mean, there's a lot of nice Japanese turntables, and I've got nothing against them. I just don't want one. But I've actually had a few Japanese turntables in the past, but I've never got on with them. I've never really stuck to them. I mean, it's, you know, if you buy a Pioneer from the late 70s, early 80s, and you buy a JVC or a Sony, you're basically getting pretty much the same thing. They all seem to be very, very the same, even the Technics. You know, they all seem to be the same thing. And, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm just into me. What do you call it? I like me Garrards. I do like Garrards. I always have done ever since I was a kid. I've liked them, and you know, because they offer me what I want. You know, they offer me quality, good performance. The sound, you know, you can get good sound results from them. Even the lowly SP25. The SP25 was actually dubbed almost a transcription turntable, whereas the Garrard, the 0100 AP76s, the Lab 80s and stuff like that, they're all transcription turntables. Transcription means that, I think it means that they are made to the highest standards, but transcription turntables were originally made for radio stations, because a transcription record, a true transcription record, was actually 16 inches, not 12 inches. And that's why a lot of people, that's why a lot of record collectors, really serious record collectors, any record collector worth his salt, serious collector, someone who collects transcription discs at least, they will have a 401 or a 301. They'll have something like that where they can put the tone arm anywhere, they can mount the arm anywhere, and they can play any size record. You know, as long as it matches one of the 4 speeds, they can play any size record. Well, I think the 401's only a 3-speed unit, but you know, even so, they can play any size record because the tone arm isn't fixed in the corner like most of them. I mean, this one can play a 12-inch record. It can't play anything bigger than that. You know, but they still class them as transcription turntables. But they are very, very well made, very solid. I mean, my 2 zeros will still be here long after me. I mean, I don't see myself as the owner. I'm only the custodian of them. You know, I'm the custodian of them. I'm the guy that's looking after them until the next person takes over. And the next person to take over, I hope they love them and enjoy them as much as I do. You know, and if there's one thing I'd like to see is my Garrard turntables go to a Garrard enthusiast, somebody that would really love to have them and would really appreciate them. I mean, I can think of a couple of guys on Facebook, you know, that I know that are in my list, and I can think of a couple of guys. They'll probably sell their own grandmother to get one of these. I mean, they're going up in price now, Zeros. If you look on the net now, you know, they're well over the £100 mark. I mean, the one I've got over there, I paid £150 for that back in 2004, and I thought I paid a bit too much. But given that I've had it all these years and it works, it didn't work perfectly when I got it, but given that it works perfectly now, apart from the hum, which we know what's causing that now, you know, I think I got a good deal. I think I've had a good run for me money. You know, I've had my money's worth, and I'm still getting my money's worth. And somebody had their money's worth before me. After I had their money's worth, I bought it, I serviced it, recommissioned it. I'm now getting mine, and I'll get my money's worth out of this fella here in front of me as well. If there's one thing I like, is in a turntable, it's got to be quality. I mean, a lot of the Japanese turntables, yeah, they're brilliant. Of course they are. I would never slag them down. I've owned a lot of them. I must have owned one from every company. The only one I've never had is a Sansui. I've never owned a Sansui turntable, and they made some nice turntables. But I've never owned a Sansui one. But that's not to say that I won't. One day, if I see one at the right price and it's the actual model I want, I would buy one. If it looks the part, I'll buy it. But yeah, you know, I mean, it's easy to make a proper transcription turntable. It's not difficult. All you need is a nice piece of what would be nice would be a nice piece of acrylic. acrylic. That one, a nice block of acrylic. Yeah, that, you know, a nice block of acrylic. Cut, you know, just mill it out. I've actually got a little milling machine attachment here that goes on my drill press. So a little milling machine goes on my drill press, and it'll attach straight to my Clark drill press, and you know, I can use the actual the chuck and the quill in the Clark to actually, I can put the bits in, and the milling bits in, and I can just move it along and I can mill stuff. So, you know, that might be a project for the future. You know, I'll probably go for the direct drive route though. You know, just buy a nice turntable that's tatty for the, I've already got the motor, I've got a motor. I've got a direct drive motor. The only thing I haven't, I've got a nice turntable as well, and a nice good heavy turntable. I think it came from one of them project things, or Riga things. Came from one of them. But I've got that in the workshop, which I bought for such a project. And just make an acrylic unit and make a separate tone arm unit that can be clipped on or can be taken off to be moved further apart, so you can play normal records. And if you want to play, if you get something extra big like a 16-inch transcription disc, you can play them as well. You know, they came in different colours. Transcription discs. All the ones I've seen, the ones I've actually seen have all been red ones. But they were distributed to music, to radio stations. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed tonight, and want a nice look through them records, guys. It always is, isn't it? I mean, if I go to someone's house and I see a wall of records, I've just got to have a look. I can't help myself. You know, I just have to be nosy and have a look, see what they've got. People do it here when they come here. They have a look, see what's on my shelf. You know. Anyway, guys. Anyway, guys and girls, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for your participation and coming in and, you know, coming into the chat and making it worthwhile. We've had 8 people in tonight. You know, I wonder if we'll get many more subscribers on this channel, but it's only a young channel, so, you know, it was only started a few weeks ago, so we don't expect a great deal. I was hoping I could get 100 subscribers by the end of the year, but I didn't start the channel till 1 week before the end of the year, so that was never going to happen, was it, guys? Anyway, listen, you all take it easy. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe, and buy me a coffee if you want to. And I will be back next week with the final part of the history of rock, and we'll talk more about the records if we can, and we'll also play a track from something and see what we can do. You all take it easy, guys. Look after yourselves. Stay warm, stay safe, and I will be with you either tomorrow or, well, I'll be definitely here Wednesday. But I might do, if that stylist turns up tomorrow, I might do a brief afternoon live where I'll show you how to set the cartridge up on the 0 with the correct gauge, and we'll go through it. We'll go through it and we'll set it up from front to back, and we'll do a front to back setup on the tone arm, and we'll use our test record that came from Mark and Bernie to set our anti-skate and get everything as we want it. And you take it easy, like I say, guys, and thank you very much. Good night, and I will catch you later down the line. Thank you very much. Bye for now, guys and girls.